15 Beauty Queens Who Turned Out Naughty. Part 1.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
1. Colombian queen charged with running child ring. Cartagena is Colombia's 5th largest city, boasting beautiful beaches and historic landmarks which tourists flock to every year. On the surface it's an ideal vacation spot, but not everything is as it seems. In 2014 the United States Immigration and Customs joined forces with Colombia's Navy and Coast Guard for an undercover sting operation. They were investigating a child prostitution ring in the area that was targeting foreign tourists. Their investigation sent them to the Caribbean Islas de Rosario Islands, where there was an illegal party that was taking place with 4 adults and 25 minors. When authorities arrived, all the adults were arrested, including model Kelly Johanna Suarez, who competed for the Miss Cartagena pageant in 2013. While her lawyer claimed that she was just a guest and innocent bystander, investigators say that she used her beauty and popularity to recruit kids from local neighborhoods. In the end, 55 children were rescued from the operation, and 12 adults were taken into custody, all facing 5 to 20 years in prison. 2. Drunken Rage. Alcohol can make people do crazy things, and according to police, it brought out 22-year-old Miss Kentucky Latina Daniela Gasky's violent side in 2010. Police say the beauty queen visited a Swifty gas station, and after having an altercation with the attendant, stabbed him in the neck with a pen. She walked outside, and began beating on a random vehicle until the owner, a pharmacist who worked at the drugstore across the street from the gas station, came outside to stop her. That's when Gasky kicked, kneed, scratched, and punched the pharmacist until she was battered and bruised. When she was arrested, police say they could smell the booze on her, but she accused them of racial profiling for being Mexican. She was charged with disorderly conduct, assault, and criminal mischief. Not surprisingly, Gasky was dropped by the Miss Latina US organization, and had her title taken away. They also didn't know that she was married, which disqualifies her from her title anyway. Gasky's story took another strange turn after a judge ordered her to house arrest. She was prohibited from leaving and owning or possessing firearms. Less than 24 hours later, she crashed her car into a gun store, and stole a number of items. She was caught in the act on surveillance cameras, but instead of sending her to jail, she was admitted to the Charter Ridge Behavioral Health System Hospital. 3. From beauty queen to making homemade bombs. 3 18-year-olds faced serious charges back in 2013, when police say they made and tossed bombs, putting citizens of Riverton, Utah in danger. Kendra Gill, a former Miss Riverton, who was gearing up to compete for Miss Utah, along with 2 of her friends, was accused of using plastic bottles, household cleaning chemicals, and aluminum foil to make the explosives, then driving around the city, throwing them out of the car's windows at both people and buildings. Late that evening, police began receiving a number of calls from concerned citizens who complained of hearing loud popping noises outside. Witnesses described a mysterious card to police, and it wasn't hard to track it down. They were charged with 10 counts each of setting off an incendiary device, but Gill pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of attempted possession of a chemical device. After completing 200 hours of community service, all charges were dismissed. 4. Flight attendant abandons coke while making her way through thaw. In 2007, Marsha Gay Reynolds was the runner-up in the Miss Jamaica Universe pageant, and won 3rd place in 2008 at the Miss Jamaica World Competition. By early 2016 she was working for JetBlue Airlines as a flight attendant. One day, as she was making her way through Los Angeles International Airport, she was stopped by security for a random screening. She immediately made a call and seemed nervous, but by the time that conversation was over, the former beauty queen kicked off her Gucci shoes, dropped her luggage, and took off running. When security looked inside her 2 suitcases, they found 70 pounds of cocaine worth over $3 million on the streets, so no one was very surprised as to why she had sprinted away from the scene. Now, how she was able to get on a flight and make her way home to New York City is still a mystery, but she was able to fly to John F. Kennedy International Airport. As soon as she stepped off the plane, however, she turned herself in to authorities and was charged with possession and intent to distribute. 5. Theft, underage drinking, and dirty videos. Stealing money from a bus fare box doesn't seem like the type of thing that an 18-year-old crowned as Miss Delaware Teen USA would do, but Melissa King found herself in handcuffs for the petty crime. The alleged theft was in June 2013, just 2 months before King's second run-in with the law, when she was cited for possessing alcohol while underage. That wasn't the biggest scandal of King's reign, however. When a sex video surfaced online featuring a young woman who both looked and sounded like King, accusations began to fly that the beauty queen had turned into an adult star. The young lady in the video told the cameraman that she just turned 18 in March of that year, described her favorite sex positions, talking about being in beauty pageants, and then performed a number of sex acts on film. King wholeheartedly denied that the girl on the tape was her, but she still turned over her crown and resigned her position. 6. Helped her lover commit murder. Former Ms. Washington Peggy Sue Thomas retired from her life as a pageant queen, and in 2003 she was dating James Houghton and working as a beautician in the Pacific Northwest. The owner of the salon, Brianna Douglas, told Thomas that her husband, Russell, was physically abusive to her. When Thomas told her boyfriend about her employer's abusive relationship, it triggered something within him. Although Houghton and Russell Douglas had never met, the news reminded him of how he was abused as a child, so he decided to exact revenge. The day after Christmas, Thomas lured Douglas to a remote area by telling him that she was going to give him a gift for his wife. While he waited for a meeting that was never to happen, Houghton shot him in the face. Investigators first thought that Douglas's wife hired a hitman to kill him for his insurance money, but a tipster who ended up being a friend and bandmate of Houghton's called the police and spilled the beans. Houghton ended up fleeing to Mexico and Thomas moved to Las Vegas, married a millionaire, relocated to New Mexico, divorced her husband, and moved back to Washington. The Mexican police took down Houghton in 2011 and he told them Thomas was his sidekick in the crime. She too was arrested and pled guilty to a lesser charge and served out her 4 years in prison. She continues to claim that she's innocent. 7. Faked cancer and stole thousands in donations. Miss Pennsylvania U.S. International broke the hearts of many when she announced that she was battling chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Brandy Lee Weave Gates first told friends and family about her diagnosis, and as the word spread, people began donating money and gifts. There was even a bingo for Brandy event, where $14,000 was raised to help for her non-existent treatment. To add insult to injury, Weaver Gates shaved her head to appear as if she was undergoing chemotherapy treatments. She told people that she was a patient at Geisinger Medical Center and UPMC Medical Centers. However, neither facility show any records of Weaver Gates ever being admitted. Her ruse unraveled when an anonymous caller tipped off police that Weaver Gates was faking her illness for profit, and once they started digging into her personal life, it wasn't long before they found out that the former beauty queen was a fraud. She was arrested, charged with theft by deception and receiving stolen property, and was stripped of her title. 8. Distributed child percent and of toddler relative. She was crowned Mrs. Orange County in 2014, and competed in the Mrs. California pageant that same year, But just 1 year later, 25-year-old Megan Brianna Alt was behind bars facing serious charges. Police say that she created an ad on Craigslist offering sexual services. In one of those encounters, she had her young children in the area. It wasn't until Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, found photos of child entertainment on a Marine's computer that Alt showed up on the police's radar. The 4-year-old was a young, female relative of Alt's who she took sexually explicit photos of and sold for money. During the investigation, Alt admitted to all of her wrongdoing, but said that her husband didn't know anything about it, so he was given custody of their children. Because Alt was known to volunteer at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in San Clemente and Irvine, police believe there are other victims that they don't know about.